Beyonce's journey from a young girl to a global superstar. Beyonce Giselle Knowles-Carter was born on September 4, 1981, in Houston, Texas, USA. Her journey to becoming one of the world's most successful musicians did not happen overnight. It began when she was a young girl with a strong interest in music and performance. As a child, Beyoncé enjoyed singing and performing. Her parents noticed her talent and supported her. She entered singing and talent competitions and began developing her confidence on stage. She also worked hard to improve her singing, dancing, and performance skills. This is one important lesson from her story. Talent is important, but talent becomes powerful when you develop it through practice. When Beyoncé was still young, she joined a girl group that eventually became known as Destiny's Child, together with Kelly Rowland and Michelle Williams. The group faced difficulties and changes in membership, but they continued working. Their determination eventually helped them become extremely successful, producing popular songs and winning major awards. Beyoncé did not stop with the success of Destiny's Child. She decided to build her own career as a solo artist. In 2003, she released her first major solo album, Dangerously in Love. The album became a huge success and established her as a powerful solo musician. She continued releasing successful albums and songs, while also performing around the world. What makes Beyoncé's story especially valuable is that she did not depend only on singing. She developed herself as a performer, songwriter, dancer, businesswoman, and creative leader. She became very careful about her image, performances, and the quality of her work. She also learned how to control and build her brand. Her career continued growing through albums such as Bidet, I Am, Sasha Fierce, Si, Beyoncé, Lemonade, Renaissance, and Cowboy Carter. She also performed at major events, including the Super Bowl halftime show, and became known for putting enormous effort into her live performances. What you can learn from Beyoncé. 1. Start with what you have. Beyoncé started as a young girl singing and competing in talent shows. She did not begin as a worldwide superstar. 2. Develop your talent. She practiced singing, dancing, and performing. If you have a skill, keep improving it. 3. Do not give up because of setbacks. Destiny's Child experienced changes and difficulties, but the members continued moving forward. 4. Think beyond one source of success. Beyoncé expanded from music into entertainment, business, fashion, film, and other creative areas. This shows the importance of building different skills and income opportunities. 5. Take your work seriously. Her success is strongly connected to preparation, discipline, creativity, and consistency. 6. Build your own name and reputation. Beyoncé turned her personal name into a powerful global brand. Call me Obey the Generous Man. Your special analyst. Beyoncé's hard challenges before building wealth. Beyoncé Knowles-Carter is now one of the world's most successful musicians, but her journey to wealth and fame did not begin with an easy life. Before she became a global superstar, she had to face rejection, intense competition, financial pressure, criticism, and years of hard work. Beyoncé was born in Houston, Texas, in 1981. From a young age, she showed a strong interest in singing and performing. Her parents supported her talent, but becoming a professional musician was not easy. She had to spend many years training, performing in competitions, and developing her voice and stage skills while other children were simply enjoying their childhood. As a child, Beyoncé entered singing and talent competitions. Sometimes she won, but she also experienced disappointment and competition. She learned early that having talent was not enough. She needed discipline, confidence, practice, and the ability to continue after losing. She later became part of a group that eventually became Destiny's Child. The group faced changes in membership, disagreements, pressure from the music industry, and the difficult challenge of proving themselves. They were not immediately one of the biggest groups in the world. They had to perform, promote their music, work constantly, and wait for opportunities. One major lesson from Beyoncé's story is that success took years before the money became big. She spent a long period building her skills and reputation before she could enjoy the wealth associated with her name today. Even after becoming famous with Destiny's Child, she still had to work extremely hard to establish herself as a solo artist. When Beyoncé began her solo career, she faced another major challenge, proving that she could succeed without relying on the group that made her famous. Her first major solo album, Dangerously in Love, became a huge success, but that success came after years of preparation. She also faced criticism throughout her career. People judged her music, appearance, performances, business decisions, and personal life. Instead of allowing every criticism to stop her, she continued improving and creating. Beyoncé's story teaches an important lesson about building wealth. Wealth usually comes after value is created consistently for many years. She first developed her talent, built an audience, created a powerful brand, and then expanded into different businesses and investments. Her journey shows that you should not become discouraged because you are starting small. You may not have money, connections, or recognition today, but you can begin by developing your skills, working hard, learning from failure, saving money, and looking for opportunities. Beyoncé did not become wealthy overnight. She built her success step by step. The lesson is simple. Start with what you have. Become very good at what you do, stay disciplined, and keep building even when nobody is watching. Beyoncé did not become successful because everything was easy for her. Her journey shows that a strong goal, discipline, family support, faith in herself, and the willingness to keep improving can help someone move forward even when the road is difficult. Writing. What encouraged Beyoncé to keep moving toward her goals? Beyoncé's success did not happen overnight. From a young age, she had a strong desire to become a great performer. That desire became one of the things that pushed her to continue, even when the journey was difficult. One important thing that encouraged Beyoncé was her dream. She knew that music was something she truly loved. When someone has a strong reason for doing something, difficulties can become easier to face. Beyoncé spent years practicing singing, dancing, and performing because she understood that talent alone was not enough. She needed to develop her skills. Another major source of encouragement was her family. Her parents supported her musical development, and her father became involved in managing her early career. She was given opportunities to practice and perform, but she also had to work extremely hard. Her family environment helped her believe that her dream was possible. Beyoncé also experienced rejection and disappointment. Her early group, Destiny's Child, went through changes in membership and faced challenges while trying to establish itself. Instead of allowing those difficulties to make her quit, she continued working. The group eventually became extremely successful. A very important lesson from Beyoncé is discipline. Success was not only about having a beautiful voice. She trained, rehearsed, performed, and prepared carefully. Even after becoming famous, she continued improving herself. This shows that reaching one goal does not mean you should stop growing. Another thing that encouraged her was the desire to prove what she could do. When people doubt you, you can either allow their opinions to stop you or use them as motivation. Beyoncé repeatedly showed that she wanted her work to speak for itself. She also understood the importance of taking opportunities seriously. When opportunities came, she prepared herself to perform at a high level. Her career later expanded beyond singing into business, fashion, film, and other areas. She did not depend on only one source of success. Most importantly, Beyoncé's story teaches that your beginning does not determine your ending. She started as a young girl with a dream. She did not immediately have worldwide fame, enormous wealth, or a huge platform. She built her career gradually through practice, patience, teamwork, and persistence. The biggest lesson you can learn from her is this: do not give up simply because your progress is slow. If you have a goal, keep learning, keep working, correct your mistakes, and remain patient. You may not see the results immediately, but consistent effort can eventually create opportunities that you never expected. Beyoncé, the negative words she faced and why she kept going. Beyoncé did not become successful because everyone believed in her from the beginning. One of the most important lessons from her journey is that criticism, rejection, and negative opinions did not make her abandon her dream. When Beyoncé was still young, she was already facing criticism. Even before becoming a global superstar, she experienced rejection and disappointment. Her early group Girls' Time appeared on Star Search and lost. Years later, her father described that failure as something that could have been a reason to quit, but instead, they went back, worked harder and improved. As Destiny's Child became successful, Beyoncé faced another painful situation. Two original members, Latavia Roberson and LaToya Luckett, left the group after serious disagreements involving management. Beyoncé became the person many people blamed, she later described, having hate websites directed at her, and said people were blaming her for everything when she was only about 17 or 18 years old. Imagine being a teenager with a dream and suddenly hearing people say things like, "She is the problem, she thinks she is better than everyone. She only succeeded because of her father," and other harsh accusations. Reports at the time described her as a ruthless person who would do anything to get ahead. There were also people who questioned why she was always placed at the front of Destiny's Child. Some suggested that her father was simply giving her special treatment. Others argued that her position came from her talent, work ethic, and commitment. But Beyoncé did something powerful. She kept working. Instead of allowing people's words to become her identity, she turned the experience into motivation. The difficult period helped inspire the Destiny's Child song Survivor. What people used as an attack became a message of strength. I will survive this. That is the lesson you can take from her story. People may laugh at your dream. They may say you are not talented enough. They may remind you about your failures. Some may even misunderstand your intentions. But their opinion does not decide your future. Beyoncé still had moments of deep pain after Destiny's Child eventually ended. She spoke about becoming lonely and going through depression. She did not pretend that everything was easy, yet she continued. She continued learning. She continued practicing. She continued creating music. She continued improving her performances. She continued believing in what she wanted to become. And eventually, the same person who had been heavily criticized became one of the most successful entertainers in the world. The greatest lesson is this: don't let temporary criticism make a permanent decision for your life. When people say, "You cannot do it," don't waste all your energy arguing with them. Work. When they say you have failed, learn. Beyoncé did grow up in a financially stable family, and that gave her some advantages, but it is important to understand that her family was not extremely wealthy or already rich in the way Beyoncé eventually became. Her father, Matthew Knowles, worked in sales and later became heavily involved in managing Beyoncé and Destiny's Child. Her mother, Tina Knowles, was a hairstylist and businesswoman who owned a successful salon and later became involved in fashion. So Beyoncé grew up in a home where her parents worked, had businesses, careers, and could provide opportunities for their children. Her parents were able to invest money and time into Beyoncé's talent. For example, Beyoncé attended performing arts programs and participated in singing and dancing competitions from a young age. Her family also supported her when she joined Girls' Time, the group that eventually became Destiny's Child. Traveling, rehearsing, recording music, and participating in competitions required resources and family commitment. However, this does not mean Beyoncé simply received money from a rich family and became successful because of it. Her father eventually left his corporate job to manage her music career, and this created financial pressure for the family. According to accounts of her early career, the family made significant sacrifices to support the group's development. Her parents put their own careers and resources behind their daughter's dream. There was also a period when her parents' marriage broke down, and the family experienced difficulties. Beyoncé still had to compete, perform, practice, handle rejection, and prove herself in the music industry. The important lesson is this: Beyoncé had family support, but support is different from being handed success. Her parents helped create opportunities, but she had to use those opportunities. Think of it like someone giving you a good piece of land. The land gives you an advantage, but you still have to clear it, plant the crops, work every day, protect them, and wait for the harvest. Beyonce's family gave her support, exposure, education, encouragement, management, and opportunities, but Beyoncé supplied the extraordinary discipline, persistence, talent, creativity, and work ethic that turned those opportunities into a massive career. So, if you are studying her story to learn about building wealth, don't conclude she succeeded because her family had money. A better conclusion is she had a supportive foundation, but she still had to build on it. That distinction is very important. Having parents who can help you is a blessing, but it does not guarantee success. What you do with the opportunity can make the biggest difference. Beyoncé is much more than a musician. She has built businesses around entertainment, beauty, fashion, beverages, perfumes, and brand ownership. Some businesses are active today, while others were older ventures that she later ended or changed. Beyoncé's businesses apart from music. Beyoncé is a good example of an entertainer who turned her fame into a business empire. Instead of depending only on money from songs and concerts, she has created and invested in companies that can make money from products, brands, and intellectual property. 1. Parkwood Entertainment. This is one of Beyoncé's most important businesses. She founded Parkwood to give herself greater control over her career and creative projects. It is an entertainment and management company involved in areas such as film and video production, artist management, marketing, creative work, touring, and consumer products. The important lesson is that Beyoncé did not simply remain the person being hired by companies. She created a company that could own, produce, and manage projects. 2. Secret Haircare Business. Secret is Beyoncé's beauty and haircare company. It launched in 2024 and focuses on hair products designed for different hair types and textures. The brand combines modern technology with traditional haircare practices. This is a different source of income from music because customers buy physical beauty products. If the brand grows, Beyoncé can earn from repeated product sales. 3. Sir Davis Whiskey Business. Beyoncé launched Sir Davis, a premium American whiskey brand, in partnership with Moët Hennessy in 2024. The brand was created around her interest in whiskey and her family history. Importantly, this business has recently changed. In August 2026, reports said Beyoncé acquired LVMH's stake, making her the sole owner of Sir Davis. That shows an important business strategy. Build a brand with a major partner, learn the market, and eventually increase ownership and control. 4. Ivy Park Fashion Sportswear. Beyoncé created Ivy Park, a sportswear and athleisure brand. She later partnered with Adidas, but that partnership ended in 2023, after which Beyoncé retained control of Ivy Park. Although Ivy Park is not the same business story it was during the Adidas partnership, it demonstrates how she entered the clothing industry and used her personal brand to sell fashion products. 5. Perfume Business. Beyoncé has also developed and sold perfumes under her brand. Her official websites operate through Parkwood and include a dedicated perfume business. Perfume is another example of turning a celebrity name into a consumer product, a person who likes. Beyoncé's brand does not have to buy a song, they can buy a physical product. 6. WTR MLN WTR Investment. Beyoncé previously invested in WTR MLN WTR, a beverage company focused on watermelon-based hydration drinks. Her involvement was not simply about putting money into a company. She also promoted the brand and its focus on supporting women. Beyoncé is married and she has 3 children. I checked recent information from 2026, so I can give you a clear and up-to-date explanation. Beyoncé's family. Beyoncé's married to Jay-Z, whose real name is Sean Carter. They secretly married in April 2008 after dating for several years. They have 3 children. Blue Ivy Carter, their first daughter, born January 7, 2012. Rumi Carter, their daughter, one of the twins, born in 2017. Sir Carter, their son Rumi's twin brother, also born in 2017. So, in simple terms, Beyoncé Jay-Z equals 3 children, Blue Ivy, Rumi, and Sir. Did something terrible happen in their marriage? Yes, their marriage has gone through serious difficulties. Although they remained together, one of the biggest problems was infidelity. Jay-Z eventually publicly acknowledged that he had cheated on Beyoncé. He discussed the damage this caused to their relationship and explained that they had to work hard to rebuild their marriage around honesty and trust. There was also the famous 2014 elevator incident. Beyoncé, Jay-Z, and Beyoncé's sister Solange were leaving a Met Gala after party when security camera footage showed Solange physically attacking Jay-Z inside an elevator. The family later said that everyone involved accepted responsibility and apologized, and they moved forward as a family. Beyonce's album Lemonade and Jay-Z's album 444 also dealt heavily with the pain, infidelity, forgiveness, and rebuilding that had affected their relationship. The important lesson: Beyoncé's life shows something interesting. Being extremely successful and wealthy does not mean someone's personal life is always perfect. She has experienced marriage problems, emotional difficulties, and public pressure, but she and Jay-Z chose to work through major problems rather than allowing those problems to completely destroy their family. As of 2026, reliable recent reporting still identifies Beyoncé and Jay-Z as parents of 3 children, and there is no reliable evidence in the sources I checked that they have divorced. People's Arlo overview of Beyoncé and Jay-Z. I researched this carefully, and the important thing to understand is that Beyoncé's 3 children are still young, so it would be inaccurate to say that they already have established full-time careers. However, Blue Ivy is clearly becoming involved in entertainment, while Rumi has also started participating in music. Sir is much more private. Beyoncé's 3 children. 1. Blue Ivy Carter, music, dance, and entertainment. Blue Ivy, Beyoncé and Jay-Z's eldest daughter, was born in 2012. She has already participated in her parents' music projects. She appeared on Beyoncé's song Brown Skin Girl, and the music video won the 2021 Grammy Award for Best Music Video, giving Blue Ivy a Grammy win at only 9 years old. Blue has also developed as a dancer and performer. She performed with Beyoncé during the Renaissance and Cowboy Carter tours. Recent reporting in 2026 says she continues to develop her dancing and musical abilities. Jay-Z has also spoken about her musical talent, including her ability to recognize musical notes. Blue has also entered acting, film, entertainment. She appeared as the voice of Kiara in Mufasa, The Lion King. So, if you ask, is Blue Ivy following her parents into music? The answer is yes, very clearly. But she is still a teenager, so we should not describe her as having a normal adult job yet. 2. Rumi Carter, beginning in music. Rumi, Beyoncé and Jay-Z's daughter, and one of their twins, has also begun appearing in her mother's music. She was featured on Beyoncé's album, Cowboy Carter. On the song Protector, she has also appeared publicly with Beyoncé during performances. However, Rumi is still very young and her parents keep much of her life private. Therefore, there is no evidence that she currently has a professional career outside these appearances. 3. Sir Carter, very private. Sir, Rumi's twin brother, is also kept largely away from the public spotlight. Unlike Blue Ivy and Rumi, there is no established public music or entertainment career for Sir at this time. His parents appear to give him considerably more privacy. The clearest answer: child. What we know publicly: Blue Ivy, music, dancing, performing, and acting. Rumi, beginning to participate in music performances. Sir, mostly private. No established public career. The biggest lesson is that Beyoncé and Jay-Z are not simply forcing all their children to become musicians. They are giving them opportunities while allowing them to develop differently. Blue has shown the strongest public interest in entertainment. Rumi has started experimenting with music, and Sir has remained much more private. So, yes, Beyoncé's children are already showing connections to music and entertainment, but only Blue Ivy has developed a significant public track record so far. Their future careers are still being formed, and it is too early to know whether any of them will eventually become full-time musicians, like their parents. Beyoncé has collaborated with African musicians, and Ghana is especially important in that story. The most notable Ghanaian musician she has worked with is Shatta Wale. Beyoncé in Ghana, Shatta Wale. The major collaboration happened in 2019 on Beyoncé's album, The Lion King, The Gift. Beyoncé personally curated the project around The Lion King and deliberately brought several African artists into the music. One of the songs was already performed by Beyoncé. Ghanaian dancehall musician Shatta Wale and Major Lazer. This was significant because Shatta Wale became the Ghanaian artist directly featured with Beyoncé on a song. He was not simply mentioned or shown in the project, he actually contributed to the recording of Already. The collaboration became even bigger in 2020, when Beyoncé released the visual album Film. Black is King already received a major visual treatment, and Shatta Wale appeared prominently in it. Beyoncé and her team also filmed parts of the project in Ghana, including locations in the Greater Accra and Eastern regions. Beyoncé herself praised the Ghanaian contribution, specifically mentioning Shatta Wale and Ghanaian choreographer Dancer God Lloyd when discussing the Already video. Other African musicians Beyoncé collaborated with. Beyoncé's African collaborations were not limited to Ghana. On The Lion King, The Gift, she worked with artists including Wizkid, Nigeria; Burna Boy, Nigeria; Tiwa Savage, Nigeria; Yemi Alade, Nigeria; Mr. Easy, Nigeria; Techno, Nigeria; Salatil, Cameroon; Bizizwa, South Africa; Moonchild Sanelli, South Africa; Shatta Wale, Ghana. For example, Keys to the Kingdom involved Tiwa Savage and Mr. Easy. Well Don't Jealous Me brought together Mr. Easy, Techno and Yemi Alade. Burna Boy Haja Ira, E, and Salatil appeared with Beyoncé and Pharrell Williams on Water. The important Ghanaian connection. So, if your main question is which Ghanaian musician has Beyoncé featured, the clearest answer is Shatta Wale, Already with Beyoncé and Major Lazer. And it was more than just a song. Ghana became part of the visual story of Black is King, with filming taking place in Ghana and several Ghanaian creatives contributing to the production. This was a major international moment for Ghanaian music because Shatta Wale's work was placed alongside one of the world's biggest music stars and presented to Beyoncé's enormous international audience. It also showed Beyoncé's intention to bring African artists and African creative talent into a major global project, rather than treating Africa only as an inspiration. In short, Ghana's strongest direct Beyoncé music connection is Shatta Wale, through Already released in 2019, and later featured prominently in Black is King in 2020. The main reason Beyoncé chose to collaborate with African musicians, especially Ghana's Shatta Wale, was authenticity. When she created The Lion King, The Gift in 2019, she said she wanted the project to be a love letter to Africa and wanted to use talented African artists and producers rather than simply making her own interpretation of African music. Why Shatta Wale? Shatta Wale was a strong fit because his music connects Ghanaian dancehall, African sounds and Caribbean influence. His collaboration with Beyoncé and Major Lazer produced Already, combining Beyoncé's global pop R&B style with Shatta Wale's Ghanaian dancehall energy. Benefits Beyoncé gets: 1. Authentic African sound. African musicians give her projects sounds, rhythms and cultural perspectives that she could not authentically create alone. 2. Connection with African audiences. Working with African stars helps Beyoncé connect more directly with listeners across Ghana, Nigeria, South Africa, and other African countries. 3. Global cultural influence. Her collaborations help position her as an artist who celebrates African culture and Black identity. This became even clearer through Black is King, where she worked with African and international creatives. 4. Stronger music. Different artists bring different styles, making the project more diverse and internationally appealing. Benefits Shatta Wale and other African musicians get: 1. Massive international exposure. Working with one of the world's biggest music stars puts an African musician in front of audiences who may never have discovered his music. 2. Stronger reputation. A collaboration with Beyoncé can increase an artist's credibility and make international artists and producers more likely to consider working with him. 3. New opportunities. The collaboration can lead to more international performances, partnerships, streaming, media attention, and business opportunities. 4. African music gets a bigger platform. It is not only Shatta Wale who benefits. African sounds and artists receive attention from a much larger global audience. The biggest lesson: Beyoncé did not simply choose Shatta Wale because she needed a famous African musician. She wanted African talent to help tell an African-inspired story authentically. Shatta Wale gained global visibility, while Beyoncé gained authentic African musical influence and a stronger connection with African culture and audiences. Their collaboration shows how two artists from different markets can use each other's strengths to reach a much bigger audience. Call me Obey the Generous Man, your special analyst. Subscribe for more great wealth content.